What's going on, boys? No guys, so welcome back to the new tactics video on a weekly update. As usual, for case you're new, we've got 4 tactics: an ultra attacking tactic, an ultra defensive tactic, a medium tactic for most of the game, and then a tactic to press. That way you have a series of formations or a different segment for different parts of the game. If you're winning, you'll probably be on one of these 2 formations. If you're losing, you're probably going to be on these 2. Now, one question I get asked a lot now, to be honest, the tactic hasn't changed that much from last week, but the biggest question I always get asked is, what have I done to my team? Now, people seem to copy what I like to do, and that's completely fine. You should always use what's good for you, but this is my team, just in case you're wondering. I played 3-5-2 mainly. I had Jordi Alba in CDM, Vasquez and Cam. I don't really know how I feel, but I don't really like Eto and Cam. He's untradeable. Same with Crespo, he's untradeable. I don't really like Eto and Crespo, but I'm just kind of making do with them. I was trying Vasquez and Cam, and I was putting Jordi Alba in CDM, but it wasn't the same. So I'll give you kind of my thoughts on what I'm going to change. But, I patted Jordi Alba from the team of season player. And of course, he's such a good player. Of course, you can't say I don't want to play him in the team. So even on 6 chemistry or even on 8 chemistry, he slots in perfectly into the team. I'm looking to saving up towards getting a towel, and that's kind of the main idea. But in all honesty, tactics haven't changed. The one question I get asked is my balance tactic. Why is everything on 1? Now, this is the thing. Your balance tactic, you never use it. So the balance tactic is basically the default tactic when you go into a game. So when a game starts, normally if your opponent kicks off first or if you kick off first, you play the balanced or the default tactic up until the ball goes out of play. So let's say, for example, the game starts, you change to your attacking tactic. It will take some time before the tactic will change. So a lot of the time you'll be playing on this formation. So what this formation is, it's an anti-kickoff formation. So balanced 1-1, balance 1-1. I don't use this for any segment of the game. I never play this way. It's only to prevent kickoff if my opponent is taking the kickoff first. That makes sense. And what you can do is you can put everyone on comeback and defense as well. And the reason why this is important is a lot of people, they struggle from kickoff is because what happens is most of the time players start running forward because they're unbalanced, and that's why people are not used to it. So what you can do to counter it is, don't forget, this is the formation I'm using just for chemistry. So I put everyone literally on stay back while attacking. And the most defensive player, so for example, I've got Daily Failure here, I just drop between defenders on the center mid. You can do that, and that way, when my opponent does kick off first, when the game does start, this way, basically, simply, if he kicks off first, I'm going to use in this formation, and when the ball goes out of play, then I'll change to one of these. Now, the tactics have not changed from last week to save you as much time as possible. We are very close, I think, to perfecting the perfect tactic setup. We have... you can copy these directly if you want to. You can use either long ball on this, and I want to quickly scroll through these, so feel free to pause this, stay central, come back in defense, the usual. This is a formation to use, of course. Now, this is another thing. For those of you on my stream yesterday, you might have seen that I was 3-0 up in 2 games. And my opponent almost came back, 4-3. I won 4-3, another one I was 3-1 ahead, and I almost conceded and lost the game. I won the game in the end, but this is important to have a defensive formation. You need to, because if your opponent goes team press, you need to have a counter for that, and that's why I have this 4-2-3-1. Everyone will stay back while attacking. Now the question why people keep saying, oh, I like to use a 4-3-3 5th variation. Listen, if you like to use a 4-3-3 5th variation, fifth, I think it's the third variation with the 2 CDMs. If you like this CDM structure with the center mid and the 4-3-3 like this, carry on using that. The reason why I go with a 4-2-3-1 is because I'm comfortable with it, and plus sometimes I like to attack with the 4-2-3-1. Sometimes I use this formation. Very rarely if, for example, my opponent goes into, like, let's say a front 4. Let's say he's got 4 players on stay forward, because if most of your formations are attacking and you've got no 4 defenders, if your opponent goes 4 strikers on stay forward, you could get counters. That's the reason why I have the 4 at the back line for the most defensive formation. But that is, of course, the most defensive formation. A formation to be used as usual when I'm 1-0 ahead and I feel the game is going against me, or if I'm 2-0 ahead, and I'll switch back to this formation and close the game out. Then I have the 3-5-2. As I mentioned last week, we've increased the depth. I tried pressure on every touch, but it doesn't really help me. I found myself getting more countered. Now, again, I wouldn't advise it to anyone either. Long ball. We've got this on 6-4-3-1-1. The usual, nothing has changed since that 3-5-2 video, apart from the depth. And everything is exact same. Now, don't forget, I play a very attacking variation of this. My left striker is on stay forward. If you struggle defensively, when you copy this, put 1 of the strikers and come back in defense. I do 3 players on stay forward because I'm comfortable with shooting that way and going that way. If you know you can't defend properly and you know you struggle with defending, and even sometimes I struggle with defending, you can always put this to come back on offense. You can always use striker drop back if you wanted a D-pad tactic. Left mid and right mid, we put conservative back on, as I mentioned, not for stamina, but just so we don't get done on the through balls. Cams on stay forward, both centre mids on stay back while attacking cover centre. I always trigger one the manually, that's why I put Vasquez and Trenton back in, because Vasquez is high. I didn't really like Jordi Alba in centre mid, and that's the back three. The 4-4-2, which is the pressing formation. So this is a formation, let's say. So what it is, before I used to have a 3-5-2 and a 5-3-2 here. So I used to have two different formations. But what I found is that 3-5-2 is just every formation together. If you want to attack, let's say in a 4-1-2-1-2, well, you have the 4-1-2-1-2 structure with the left mid and right mid in a 3-5-2. You want to attack in a 4-4-2, you got the 4-4-2 with a cam. You want to attack in a 4-2-3-1, you got the 4-2-3-1 with two strikers. So it's a perfect formation for me. The 5-3-2 is a good formation, but I don't like to use wing play and I don't cross the ball. If you cross the ball, feel free to use the 5-3-2 instead of the 3-5-2. But that's why I opted to putting a pressing formation, because now during team of the season, what I realized is, and I'm sure you know about this as well, people are holding the ball after it's 1-1 or there's 1-0 ahead. They're holding the ball too much. Sometimes with a 3-5-2 you can't press properly, and sometimes with a 3-1-4-2 you're kind of going too gung-ho. So you need one in the middle, and that's where the 4-4-2 pressing formation came from. Balanced. Again, this one you can use pressure and heavy touch on, but I press very much manually with it, but you can use pressure and heavy touch. Don't use press after possession loss. Use pressure and heavy touch. It's a more conservative and a more safe option. You don't want to go 2-0 down if you're 1-0 down by getting countered. So make sure you be conservative, but yet still being aggressive. You can always use team press if you want to. But I use balanced because I control players manually. 6 width, of course, being wide as possible. Very high depth, 7 depth. People like to call it the automatic offside trap. I just say it just tries to keep the last striker, or it aligns your defense with the last striker. So if your opponent's got very high depth, bear in mind he could counter this if he has one player on stay forward. Long ball, 5-4, the usual over there. Nothing's changed like that. And instructions: 1 stay central, both stay central, one come back, 1 balance. I still prefer stay central on my strikers, even though you can argue balance is better. I want these guys to be in the middle. Left mid, right mid, come back in defense. Everything else on default. I let them run if they want to. Both centre mids, both on covered centre. One of them's on stay back while attacking. The other one's on balance, one that makes the runs up and down. Left back and right back on stay back. Interceptions, conservative and overlap. Now the last formation is ultra attacking one. Because we have this semi 4-4-2 pressing formation, I just use constant pressure on this one now, and that's what I've changed. So I've gone 4 with a width. It's the exact same from last week. Nothing has changed. There's no alteration since the video, in fact. And these are the instructions, so feel free to copy these. I'll let you just pause. And if you want to see more of these, any more of these kind of formations in play, don't forget I do my Patreon series. We are still making Patreon videos, so if you do want to get better at FIFA, I mean actually get better at FIFA, not just learning the bridge or broken mechanics, don't forget I do the FIFA School. Link is down below in the description for the FIFA School Series. Patreon.com/Neil Guides. Cut pass lanes to while attacking, and back threes on stay back. And that is basically the formation update. So there wasn't too many changes, a few changes, constant pressure on an ultra attacking formation, just a few things with depth, and just a few changes. And then the team was changed, and that's pretty much it. I packed Keane, and who else did I pack? I packed I can't remember who else I packed. I packed Llorente. I think I packed Llorente, and I packed someone else. I put him in SPC. So not the worst, but not the best. But yeah, I got Oblak, and I got someone else. But that's basically the team. But again, thank you very much for watching, boys. Take it easy. And if you do have any questions, of course, do let me know. Thanks for watching, boys. Take it easy, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.